Hello and welcome to Computology Academy, and today we are going to discuss the Magad Empire for the history of ancient Bihar, and this is the session 4 in the series of history of Bihar. This is very important for BPSC exams, 67th BPSC, that is going to held in 2022. The date is around, that is of 7th May. On 7th May the prelims are going to be commenced, so it is the right time to start your revision and do the revision very fast, because as the number of time of the revision will increase, that much accuracy of the answering capacity will be there for you people. So let us start, and here we will discuss about the Magad Empire. So first of all, let us start with the origin of Magad Empire. So as we all know that the Magad Empire was one of the most important, most powerful and imperialistic empire in ancient Bihar. And the initial mention about the Magad Empire is found in the epic Mahabharata. Mahabharata mentions the Magad Empire that was in the south of the river Ganga, and here we find it in the context of Jarasandh. Like the भीम had killed Jarasandh, he had killed in the मल्ल युद्ध. और आप लोग जब भी बोध गया से राजगीर की तरफ जाएंगे, then you will come across a place that is called as जरासंध का अखाड़ा. On that akhada, it is said that there was the Mall Yudh held between Bhim and Jarasandh, and there Bhim had killed Jarasandh, right? And here we also found the mention of Videha on the north bank of Ganga, that is north of river Ganga, and the southern bank was occupied by Magad, as we have already seen. So the Magad Empire in the ancient Bihar in the 6th century BC, we see the mention of the Magad Empire in the ancient history after the epic of Mahabharata, and here it was founded, it was established by the people of Haryanka dynasty in the 6th century BC, and two most important rulers of Magad Empire were Bimbisar and Ajatasattu. These were the most important rulers who brought the Magad Empire to the zenith, right? And both of them were the contemporary of Mahatma Buddha, Lord Buddha, right? And they find their mention in the Mahavansa also. Mahavansa is the literary text of that period in which we find the mention about the Bimbisar, who ruled the Magad between 544 BCE to 492 BCE. So it was about half a century, and he had came to the throne, he had ascended to the throne at the age of 15 years only, and he was a great imperialist. So here you may find the question in the prelims that who of the following were the contemporary of Lord Buddha? Then in that case you have to answer that if you find in the option both of them, that is Bimbisar and Ajatasattu, or any one of them, then you have to mark that, right? So such kind of questions may appear in the prelims exam, and here the extent of the Magad Empire increased considerably. Bimbisar was a great imperialistic, great conqueror, great diplomat also. He used the diplomacy, he used the war and various other means to extend the frontiers of his empire. His empire increased considerably under his rule. He married the Kosala Devi of the Kosala Empire, and in dowry he received Kasi. So Kasi was an affluent region. It was a great agricultural region during that period, and it was generating a considerable amount of revenue, and that made possible for the Magad Empire to hold a large standing army, as well as they had a marriage alliance with Kosala in the west, so they were not having any threat to their frontier. In spite of that, they had already received Kasi in dowry, right? So this was first marriage alliance of Bimbisar between the Kosala Empire. Thereafter, his second wife was Chelana, who was a Lichvi princess, who was a princess of Vaisali, and now he had secured his eastern frontiers. And in that marriage also he had received some part of the Vajji empire. He improved his relationships with Vajji empire, and Vajji rulers were in close relationship with him, and they were also supporting his war efforts, his conquests also. Next, the third wife of Bimbisar was the Madara princess of Punjab. So during that period, you can consider that what a vision of Bimbisar was, what kind of diplomacy he was using, that it was having the marriage alliance in the far-flung west region of Punjab. So basically what happened, for the conquest and war effort of Bimbisar, it became a station, it became a point of call. So he can station his army over there, he can gain the support from there, he can get the supplies from there. So he was basically having a friend in the far-flung region who can help his war efforts in the western region. So this was the vision of Bimbisar, right? And the marriage alliances helped him to consolidate his position also. He became very famous. His stature in the common parlance increased because of having the marriage alliance with the royal families, right? And he was himself a royal person, although he was from the Haryanka dynasty, right? And the conquest of the new regions got increased during this period, right? And he attacked Anga was the eastern region. Anga was in the east of Magadha region in the Bhagalpur and Munger region, and he killed the ruler of Anga, that was Brahmadatt, and he conquered Anga region. He also fought the war with Chandrapradyut. Chandrapradyut was the ruler of Avanti, that is in the Madhya Pradesh region. And here what happened, though both of them were able ruler, both of them were having a huge standing army, so this war was inconclusive. None of them won the war. So ultimately both of them were quite knowledgeable people, so they came to conclusion that rather than fighting a long war, we should come to a conclusion of treaty. So they came to friendship, they became the friends, and they concluded a treaty lastly to not to attack each other's empire. So this was the outcome of the war between Chandrapradyut and Bimbisar. Next important ruler of Magad was Ajatsatru. So he is very famous because he was the person who is considered by the Buddhist text who killed his father to usurp the throne. But the Jain text does not agree with this assertion because they say that it was not true. And both of the epics, both of the literary texts were compiled during this period itself. So it becomes difficult to corroborate which one is correct and which one is wrong. And that is why if you are answering any question in history, then you should mention both of the contexts, not the single context, right? And he usurped the throne from his father after killing his father according to Buddhist text. However, the Jain text does not agree with this, and he ruled between 492 BCE to 460 BC for 32 years. And here he was also an imperialistic. He furthered the frontiers of Magad Empire. He carried on his father's imperialistic policy, and he increased the total frontiers of the Magad Empire. And two major wars which were fought by him was, first one was the Kosala. So you may say that the Bimbisar was having a marriage alliance with Kosala. So how could be a war between the two relatives, between the marriage alliance people? So basically here what happened, Kasi Naresh Prasenjit, at that very time Kasi was ruled by Prasenjit, so he accused Ajatsatru of killing his father, and on that pretext he reoccupied Kasi, and as he reoccupied Kasi, recaptured Kasi, Ajatsatru got infuriated because this was the region which was giving him a huge revenue, on which he was having a large standing army, and that is why he attacked Kosala. He defeated and forced to conclude a treaty to the Kosal Naresh Prasenjit, and finally the Prasenjit had to concede. He accepted the treaty, and he also married the Kosala princess Vajra to Ajatsatru. So from this we can ascertain that the Ajatsatru was not the child, the son of the princess of Kosala, Kosala Devi. Otherwise he would not have married Vajra, because she would have become her cousin, his cousin, right? And next war was fought with Vajji. Again there was a marriage alliance between the Vajji kingdom and the Bimbisar, but there was again a war, and this war was because of the case that the Vajji kings were asking for the return of the gold presents which were provided during the marriage of Bimbisar, which Ajatsatru refused. So the Vajji kings started to capture the frontier areas of Magad Empire, and due to that there was a war between Vajji and Magad. And here what happened? A new military garrison, a new military establishment village was established on the bank, southern bank of river Ganga, that was Patligram. And this village was mainly established as a garrison to attack on Vajji, which was on the northern bank of river Ganga, and this gradually became a permanent establishment, which we will see later on how its persona, its stature increased, right? So this was the context because of which Patligram came into existence. Later on, what Ajatsatru did, he fortified Rajgriha, the capital at that very time. During the period of Bimbisar and Ajatsatru, Rajgriha or present day Rajgir was the capital city of Magad Empire. And here there was a constant threat from Avanti. Although Bimbisar and Chandra Pradyot had concluded an agreement, a friendship treaty, but this was not being respected by the later rulers of Avanti as well as Magad. So both of them were suspicious of each other's opinion and each other's stand to consider that treaty as the permanent treaty. So that is why what happened, there was a constant threat on the capital city of Magad, that is Rajgriha. So he started to fortify Rajgriha. Rajgriha was located between 5 hills. If you go to Rajgir, then you will see small hills around the center place of the Rajgir region, and here you can also see the remains of that fortification wall. The capital was fortified using the rock walls, and some of the remains are still existent over there, and these walls were erected between the gaps because there was the gaps between the hills which were providing the entrance to the capital city. Otherwise, during that period, the hills were not accessible, it was not possible to cross the hills during that period with those kind of the equipments available during that period. So the hill gaps were fortified, those were closed using the rock walls, and it was made secure. Next, the ruler was the Udaybhadra or Udayin. He ruled the Magad Empire between 460 BC to 444 BCE. He shifted the capital from Rajgrihi to Patliputra. His successors were not so competent. Basically, Udayin shifted the capital from Rajgrihi to Patliputra because of the same threat, as well as the Magad Empire had got extended to the west, to the north also, and because of that they thought that Patliputra would be a better place to establish the capital because it will be at the center of the empire. So the empire will be accessible and may be equidistant from the Patliputra region in all the directions. Again, that region was the confluence of 4 rivers, and the river transport was the most important transport and communication system available during that period, because at that very period there was no such network of the roads and other things. So the river transport was the best means of transport available during that period, and most of the population was engaged in agricultural work, and that is why they were living around the banks of the rivers only, and that is why it was very easy for the administration to collect the taxes in the form of grains or whatever it is and bring it back to the capital city. And that is why they shifted the capital from Rajgrihi to Patliputra, but the successors of Udayin were incompetent. They were not so able to keep the empire intact, and because of that the disintegration started, right? And according to Mahavansa, these successors of the Magad Empire were killer of their fathers, they were murderer of their fathers. To usurp the throne, they used to kill their father, they used to murder their father, and their subjects got infuriated out of this. They were infuriated due to the high taxation rate, due to the misadministration and other things, and because of that his subjects themselves facilitated the downfall of the empire. And the last major ruler of the Haryanka dynasty was Nag Dasak. Last important ruler was Nag Dasak. And here I would like to inform you all that the General Studies Foundation course for the Civil Services 2023 exam has been already announced by Computerology IS Academy. That is going to start on 28th of March 2022. Right, and here this will be a morning batch where the prelims comes mains complete syllabus will be covered. This is going to be an offline batch, and the personal mentoring and hand holding will be provided till the final selection. So all of you, those who want to enroll for the courses, can come down to our office, or for further information you can get in touch with us on this mobile number and WhatsApp number, or on this landline number. The mail ID is provided in the description below. And for further information and the detailed syllabus etc., you can log on to our website, and do follow us on our social media handles. This is our Facebook and Telegram channel, and do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.